everybody to the Town of Waterboro Planning Board meeting for January 21st, 2026. Angela, can we start with roll call?
Rick Madruga.
Here.
Rebecca Higgins.
Here.
Stacy Walker.
Here.
Diane Wright.
Here.
Joe Prescott.
Here.
And joining us this evening for her first meeting is Lisa Tibbetts, who was elected to the planning board last evening.
Welcome.
Welcome.
All right, next on the agenda is public hearing, which we don't have. Next is old business, which is 200 Main Street, David Alves, Saco Realty Associates, LLC, finding of facts. All right. So, Town of Waterboro Planning Board, finding of fact and conditions of approval, site plan review, conditional use, site plan name 200 Main Street, property owner Saco Realty Associates LLC, site location 200 Main Street, size and number of lots, units, 3 commercial units, 36 residential units, 2 developed lots, 1 undeveloped lot. Zoning districts, contract zoning district, assessors map 5, lots 49, 1, 50, and 51. The applicant is David Alves, Saco Realty Associates LLC. Information reviewed by the planning board, staff review, which includes public works, fire chief, planner, code enforcement officer has been completed, site walk completed that was non-applicable, and state and federal reviews include Maine Department of Environmental Protection, DEP. Conditions include DEP stormwater permit approval is granted and the applicant complies with the contract zoning agreement dated October 19th, 2021. Date approved was January 7th, 2026. It was approved by the Town of Waterboro Planning Board members Rebecca Higgins, Diane Gray, Jill Prescott, and Rick Madruga. The Waterboro Planning Board has reviewed the above noted development utilizing the Waterboro standards for reviewing land site plans and the Waterboro zoning ordinance. Based upon the application and materials submitted in the support of the application, together with the evidence submitted at the public hearing on the application, the Planning Board makes the following findings with respect to the standards of Article 2, Section 2.10 of the zoning ordinance listed below. Number 1, the proposed development meets the definitions and/or requirements set forth in zoning ordinance. What's marked off is met with the following conditions and/or waivers. The parking lot stall size of 10 feet by 20 feet is waived for this application, and stall size of 9 feet by 19 feet is granted. Anybody have any questions, concerns? Number 2, the proposed development will not create fire safety hazards by not providing adequate access to the site or the buildings on the site for emergency vehicles, adequate dry hydrants, or adequate access to off-site dry hydrants and from there to the site. It's marked that the standard is met with a note. Adequate emergency access is provided via the 20-foot emergency access way along the building's eastern sides, and the Sky Manvik Way is designed to accommodate emergency vehicles. The fire department has reviewed the application and found it sufficient. Anybody have any changes, additions? Number 3, the proposed exterior lighting will not create hazards to motorists traveling on adjacent public streets, be inadequate for the safety of occupants or users of the site, or will damage the value and diminish the usability of adjacent properties. It's marked that the standard is met with the following note. The submitted lighting plan shows all outdoor lights as shielded and down-facing, with no light casting beyond the property's boundaries. Anybody have any questions, concerns?
No.
Number 4, the provisions for buffers and on-site landscaping provides adequate protection to neighboring properties from detrimental features of the development. It's marked as the standard is met. The note, the submitted landscaping plan includes buffers of retention, natural vegetation, as well as 3 new trees planted in front of the commercial units on Route 202, 3 trees planted on the west side of Skip Manvik Way, and trees planted throughout the development. Anybody have any questions, concerns, edits? Okay. Number 5, the proposed development will not have a sufficient detrimental effect on the use and peaceful enjoyment of the abutting property as a result of noise, vibrations, fumes, odor, dust, glare, or other cause. It's marked as the standard is met. The note, the development's residential and small office commercial uses will not produce unreasonable noise, vibrations, fumes, odor, dust, glare, or other detrimental effects. Any questions, concerns, edits? Number 6, the provisions for vehicular loading and unloading and parking and for vehicular and pedestrian circulation on the site and onto adjacent public streets will not create hazards to safety or will not impose significant burdens on public facilities which could be avoided by reasonable modification of the plan. It's marked as the standard is met. The note, Public Works and Planning Departments have reviewed the transportation plan and find it sufficient. Any questions, concerns? Right, we will move on to number 7. The bulk, location, height, or design of proposed buildings, structures, or paved areas, or the proposed use thereof will not have a significant detrimental effect on private development on adjacent properties or on the value of adjacent properties which could be avoided by reasonable modifications to the plan. It's marked as the standard is met. The note, the commercial building meets the commercial design standards and the residential buildings are set far back from property lines. Residential buildings' height and bulk meet the zoning standards. Any questions? Number 8, the design of the site will not result in significant flood hazards or flood damage and is in conformance with applicable flood hazard protection requirements. Standard is met is marked as not applicable. It says that with the note, the site is not located within a FEMA 100-year flood zone. Any questions, concerns? Number 9, adequate provisions have been made for the disposal of wastewater or solid waste or for the prevention of ground or surface water contamination. It's marked as the standard is met. With the note, septic tanks are sized adequately to service the units and situated at appropriate depths. Any questions, concerns? Number 10, adequate provisions have been made to control erosion or sedimentation. It's marked as the standard is met with the note, 3 bio-retention basins, the previous emergency access way, planted and retained vegetation, a riprap slide slope, a riprap runoff apron, a silt fence, and a stabilized construction entry-exit will be used to control erosion and sedimentation. Any questions, concerns, edits? Number 11, adequate provisions have been made to handle storm water runoff or other drainage problems on the site and any proposed stormwater detention ponds are adequate to serve stormwater on or from the site. It's marked the standard is met with a note, 3 bioretention basins, the pervious emergency access way, planted and retained vegetation, a riprap slide slope, riprap runoff apron, a silt fence, and a stabilized construction entry exit will be used to handle stormwater runoff. Any questions, concerns, edits? Number 12, the proposed water supply will meet the demands of the proposed use and is adequate for fire protection purposes. Marked as standard is met. The development will be serviced by the Waterboro Water District. Any questions, concerns, changes? Number 13, adequate provisions have been made for the transportation, storage, and disposal of hazardous substances and materials as defined by state law and the hazardous waste ordinance. It's marked as non-applicable. No hazardous substances will be used nor waste will be generated in this development. Any edits, questions, concerns? Number 14, the proposed use will not have any adverse impact on significant scenic vistas or on significant wildlife habitat which could be avoided by reasonable modifications to the plan. It's marked as non-applicable. The note, no significant wildlife habitat exists in this development. Lot 51 will remain undeveloped. Any questions, concerns, changes? Number 15, the project will not increase nitrate nitrogen concentrations in surface or groundwater at the property line of the site in excess of state of Maine drinking water standards. If groundwater contains contaminants in the excess of primary drinking water standards and the project is to be served by on-site groundwater supplies, the applicant shall demonstrate how water quality will be improved or treated to meet applicable standards. It's marked as non-applicable. The site's use will not increase nitrate nitrogen concentrations. Based on the above noted findings, the Waterboro Planning Board votes to, I guess this is where we need a vote, votes to approve with the conditions noted above for the final plan application of 200 Main Street. I need a motion.
Yes.
To approve the
To
findings
approve the
of fact.
findings of facts.
I'll make a motion to approve the findings of facts of the 200 Main Street final plan application.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Alright. Takes care of that. Alright,
Well,
next.
You should
oh.
technically do abstain since
Oh,
we
right.
have other members.
So, does she announce that she abstained, or I have to mention that she's?
Well,
Two abstained, right? Because of,
because
She
they-
recused herself.
she's-
I
Yeah.
She's been
myself.
Yeah.
recused, and then we'll have one abstained. Because
right, that's
they're
right,
present,
recused and
yes.
and abstained, yeah.
But you should just ask for, formally, just anyone recused, or anyone abstain.
Oh, right. So does anyone abstain?
But me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
One.
perfect.
Okay. Next on the agenda is new business, which we do not have any. Next, minutes of previous meetings. We have the minutes for January 7th, 2026. And I think there is an edit, correct?
I have an edit, yes. Where it says, Michaela Jordan stated in her memo, regarding recommendations of approval, or that a condition of approval be that DEP permit approval be received. I would like it to say, Michaela Jordan stated that in addition to, her recommendations in her memo, she also recommend that a condition of approval be that DEP permit approval be received.
You know that?
Essentially, because I didn't actually state that in my memo. Forgot.
Okay. So can I get a motion to approve the minutes of January 7th, 2026 as edited?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of January 7th, right? Yeah,
Yep.
of 2026 with the edits.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
And one recused, no abstain.
You weren't here for me?
No, I'm recused, but do you have to ask about the abstained one vote again?
Oh, right, yes. But you're not recused from reviewing the minutes.
Yeah, you don't have
Yeah,
to, well,
I didn't take part
she
in
had
any
to,
of that.
she had
Yeah.
to sit over
Yeah.
here.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
For that meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
Or
For
for that part of
meeting.
it.
Part of that meeting.
Yep, so one recusal, I can't say the word.
Gotcha.
Recusal.
Okay.
It's a weird word to say.
Okay. So we
One
have
abstain.
one recused, and then, does anyone abstain?
I
All right. Next is communication.
I have two. First, the docs. Quick update, Jason and Ryan, Angela talked about this some more, and I called someone at the DEP at the state who's an expert in shoreline zoning, and they confirmed that if the dock isn't permanent, they don't touch it.
I thought I heard that before.
Yeah. And so we were talking about the next step that we think makes the most sense is letting folks know, basically sending a letter to all property owners around, water bodies in Waterboro that if they rent out their dock space or mooring space, this upcoming summer, that we would view that as a commercial use. And if they're not zoned for commercial use, that would be a violation of the zoning ordinance, and they would be, they could get fined for that. And so the idea would be to get them to want to comply by either trying to come into compliance by either getting a conditional use permit if they're in a zone that allows that, or doing a zoning change request or, just some other measure to come into compliance, or they, find out that they're not able to do that, and so they don't do it because they know they'll get fined, or they now know they're not supposed to do that, and if they do it anyways, we're able to pursue that, knowing that we've let them know what they are allowed or not allowed to do.
So how do you know if somebody's renting it or not?
Yeah, who's policing this? Jason?
What
I
about,
just jumped into this one.
what about the three that are already here? What about
Or the
those?
grandfather.
Are they grandfathered?
Well, some, have business licenses, so they're able to rent already,
So is that the two big ones?
the campgrounds.
Campground and Sunnyside?
Campground and Sunnyside, but the other guy doesn't?
It appears that others are operating as a marina when they never came in for a conditional use permit.
Now, did he come in and see Mike?
He did.
Yes.
He had multiple conversations with Mike that there were never any permits or anything issued for it.
Michaela had talked about
So you know where that's gonna go.
dealing with a short-term rental ordinance, and it might be something you want to bundle into that
Oh, Lord.
for Airbnb, VRBO. It's just an idea. I'm not.
And the
So as
reason-
long as I don't charge for the 5 boats that are at my dock, then.
Well, you could be renting, you could let your friends use the boat, but if it's,
Yeah.
if it's for profit, it's usually a commercial entity or something like
Okay,
that.
so-
Yeah. If it's for profit, then the idea is you need to have the permission to do so. And
Is
the,
there a monetary threshold to that?
no,
No?
Can just say their taxes, just pay their tax bill.
Yeah,
mean,
Some towns have, they still require dock permits. It's a nightmare for a code officer to deal with, because it's usually a yearly permit. Some towns have adopted mooring ordinances, those are nightmares too, but none of them are fun. I don't know how big of an issue this is, I mean, I'm just coming in here, I've been told it's been an issue with some people. I don't know how many individuals are renting out their spot and how many boats are being docked on these docks, so, man, I guess we really gotta assess the situation.
I don't know how you'd find
Move
that out.
forward with it.
I think,
Other than one place, I don't know, how do you know who's?
Well, you send the letters to all the neighbors, and neighbors now come and report the
Tell them
people that are
something.
there. That's how this
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
well, and the idea is hopefully to get people to come in for conditional use permit or, and then it's, you know,
So what if everybody comes in for a conditional use permit? We don't approve them all. We're in the same boat. So then,
I saw what you did.
Good one.
sorry.
There would have to be some kind of restrictions on it, of some, you know, how, if there was a conditional use, you'd have so much dock space per boat
Like you could
scenario.
say every year we accept the first 10 permits. First come, first serve?
Oh,
or-
Lord, they'll be camping out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
there.
just trying to
Yeah,
I think
figure
it
out.
really should be per frontage. You
Yeah.
have X amount of frontage, you're only allowed so many boats.
So even the state, even though they don't regulate it, they still have, there is a guideline out there, I've looked at it before, I don't know exactly where to find it, but it is something like that. So you're allowed so many docks per actual amount of shore frontage.
Right.
You know, typically, it's 1 dock per lot, but if you own more, the X amount of shore frontage, you're allowed 2. I don't know anybody who follows the rules, I know more people with 2 docks, and
Right, well, a lot of people have two.
yeah, so I don't, you know, and I don't regulate docks, and you really shouldn't unless it's a permitted process, you know, so.
So how do we get the third party to get into compliance, or what is your plan there?
Don't have one yet.
Okay.
Still in
This
the
was-
works.
yeah, this was the next
Ideation.
step. That we've come up with.
Really is to find out which docks are renting them out and how many there are. Let them know, you know, what our thoughts are, or once we figure out a good plan, we'll inform them that if they continue to do this, then they're not in compliance. And it could be a violation of the Waterboro zoning ordinance, so. Something that I would reach out to town council about and see how to move forward with it as well. Because it's something I'm not gonna just jump into without having the appropriate, you know, support.
and can't recall, this was trying to reduce the amount of traffic on the lake.
According to some of the people that came to that meeting, they were saying how
So we
the
think
boat
docks are
traffic
the
is,
answer.
you know.
So what, you guys got
I
a
know
public
that
boat
it's
launch, so how does that work?
I know.
Right.
The boat
I know.
launch is.
You're right with us.
Right, yeah.
Most,
Right, the ultimate complaint was too much traffic on the lake.
the biggest problem really is the parking. Is probably
Parking
is
and
as
erosion,
bad,
I think erosion.
as
was
bad
the-
as the boats, it's the parking. The parking is a disaster.
Yeah, and I think that's why this conversation has been somewhat circular, it's
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's like 7 different causes and effects that are
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
intertwined.
Yeah, the erosion, that's a whole separate issue. There's states that are putting laws on, or states that are putting laws on certain lakes with some of these wake boats.
Yeah,
You know, it's not the pontoon boats or the fishing boats, it's
That's the
these,
surf
you know,
boats.
Yeah.
I mean, we all see them out there, the surf boats, they, you
Yeah.
know, the bigger the wake, the more fun you have.
Right.
So, but that's what's eating the shoreline up,
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
But yeah, some states have actually put distances from the shoreline of how close they can come, so it actually helps break the
yeah.
wave down.
Didn't they do that?
Or
in
they,
Maine
or
last
they
year?
get rid
They
of
do
them
have-
completely.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because I think on Ospey, right, you could go maybe right down the middle of the lake with
Yeah.
one,
And
possibly.
there are, I know a few people that have them, and they're very respectful that way.
Yeah.
They go up and down the middle, they won't get too far on one end. They'll be out there early in the morning when everybody else is not out there. But that's only,
It's
you know,
typically
one or
the
two
people that launch boats that don't
That
know the
don't-
rules or don't respect the rules.
Are out from around
Yeah,
here.
they're not, they don't, yeah, and that's how it's usually is.
Mhm. So you're
So you're-
saying,
Go ahead. So your first step, you're thinking of sending a letter to everybody regarding commercial permits or conditional uses.
And to look into, see if we can figure out exactly how many properties we think may or may not be complying.
Can we throw a drone up at the holidays? And start counting and then average it out?
That's what the
That's
game
not-
warden said he was gonna
Have a drone.
do. He said it would save a lot of money in gas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's coming out of your budget, 'cause it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah,
but a drone would be fun.
yeah, but that's all we have.
I mean,
with
just
the
to get a
dogs.
baseline, so we know what we're looking at.
It would be good to have a baseline. The other thing is the timeline I have in front of you all. One side is just the title, just to like, so you know what you're looking at when you're looking at it, but, this is in order to get all of the zoning amendments adopted in time for the July 1 deadline, which is the deadline imposed by the state for, all the changes, that they put in place in the 132nd legislative session. I do strongly anticipate that they're going to delay everything by 6 months to a year. But I'm gonna start off this spring planning for us having to get this done by July 1st. So this is the plan, so we'll have a work session at the beginning of February. And then I'm gonna go to the town council in March and talk through some of the legislative stuff in more detail so they know it's coming. Then I'll come back to you all in early March and hopefully we'll have a pretty good draft of the changes. Because part of the legislation requires that I send the full ordinance draft to the main office of community affairs and that they get an entire month to review it before we, accept that draft for any kind of public hearing or vote. So that means we have to have them review it before we like officially have the town council send it to the planning board for your public hearing and then send it back to the town council for their public hearing. So that's why I have that before March and then the drafting, give myself a few days to make edits after our last work session. It'll be at MoCA from mid-March to mid-April. I'll have the town council hopefully receive the ordinance on April 21st and say, okay, this is something the planning board needs to look at. And then we'll have the planning board public hearing and vote on May 6th. There is some buffer time built into this, so we can go to the second meeting in May if we need to. And then hopefully you'll bounce it back to the town council for their public hearing and vote on June 2nd. And again, buffer time built in there because they have their second meeting in June. So that is the goal. It goes by quick when it's all laid out. Fortunately or not fortunately, you know, both sides of the coin, there's not a lot of wiggle room. So it's basically like, you know, you looking at what I've done and saying, yes, that's what you see as the state requirement also, you know, like.
We're just confirming the work that
Yes,
you're doing.
yes,
Gotcha.
the set of public eyes
Yeah.
looking at the work that I'm doing. There's not many decisions to be made.
Right, gotcha.
So, but it is a lot. There's, you know, we're gonna have to make changes to probably like 15 different sections. And it's not big changes in any of the sections necessarily, but it's, you know, a sentence or paragraph here, and then 2 pages later, a sentence or paragraph there, and then so on and so forth throughout the entire zoning ordinance, so. It will take a while to get through. I will be building, I've already started, but I'm building a packet where I'll have the legislative text on the left side, your ordinance text on the right side, and then on the next page, the meaning of or interpretation of the legislation on the left side, and my proposal for your ordinance on the right side.
Sounds good.
So you can just look at it easier or more simply. And hopefully, so we'll do that the first session, and then the second session, I'll bring it like actually redlined in the ordinance packet, but I figured it might be nicer the first one just to go through the actual changes rather than a red line. So, that's the plan.
Okay, nice.
Good plan.
Yeah. I think.
Good luck.
Yeah,
See all these dates.
yeah, you can only stare at legislation
Yeah.
for so long before you have to be
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
okay, did I just read the same sentence, or did I
4 times in a
read-
row?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else under communication? No? Miscellaneous?
Michaela, do you wanna touch while you're on the air on your comprehensive plan survey
Oh, yeah.
poster that's out in the lobby?
Sure. So as part of preparing to launch the comp plan, I kind of wanted to get a sense of how Waterboro likes to engage. I kind of heard from the town council back in December that can be a struggle to get people engaged. So you might have noticed it when you walked in, we're gonna hang it up soon, but there's a gigantic poster that asks people how they prefer to be engaged, and there's, I think, 8 different options, and there's stickers, and they can vote on their preferences for how they're engaged, and we've been pointing people who come in to register their car or do anything else in the town office to vote on it, so it's not anything formal, but just to get a sense of how to tailor our public engagement. And then at the same time, I'm gonna do some, and I've started to do some more like social media campaigning about the comp plan. I did a post about if anyone wanted to be on the committee, and I'll probably do one about how people like to be engaged on there as well. But yeah, and if you have any thoughts, you guys are always welcome to email me, or if you talk to neighbors or friends and they have ideas about how they want to be engaged or something creative or interesting, just let me know.
That's great. All right, fine. There's nothing else. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion to adjourn. How's that?
I'll second it.
All right, all those in favor?
Cool.
Good job on the rip rap.
Um,
Who decided the name of the road?
Magic Rico.
What is Skip Man Dick?
Well, there's that word, rip